Talking to us about mental toughness is life purpose coach Gabriel. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Mikari.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas too. Hope you enjoyed yours.
I did. Family always is the thing for me during
Pressure.
Christmas. I don't know about you.
Exactly. Even for myself, especially
Yes.
spending more quality time with my family
Yes.
has been awesome.
Oh, great.
I feel
great.
rejuvenated even ready for next year.
Yes. I love to hear it. And today, it's sort of like you're preparing us for the new year, because during the festive season, tunalegeza kamba sana. And we enjoy the moment. And it is well-deserved. It is well-deserved. But then again, when we step into the new year, things are going to... We need to go in January for a reason.
Sure.
And it's not in January just because of money sometimes. It's also our mental state and the hunger that we have to just do better.
Sure.
By ourselves. So when we talk about mental toughness, and self-doubt, I don't know even where to start with this, because these are things that we do to ourselves. It's not courtesy of anyone out of, ourselves.
Exactly. That's true. I think it's one thing that God has given us as a gift for life.
True.
And the fabric of life is our mental state of well-being. That is our brain, our emotions. It's so fantastic.
Yeah.
And that's what God has given us as the engine for life. How we use it or how we abuse it determines the quality of the outcomes we get from it.
We do that.
Exactly. Exactly. So we use it, or sometimes we abuse it as well.
it.
And also sometimes we're ignorant about the power and the potential of using our mind to control reality and to control the things that we find as outcome of life. So as a purpose coach, this is a topic that I love engaging in, helping people being able to take navigation of their life, to have a sense of control in their life. Because mental toughness is more about being able to go through life and situations in life and storms, what people call storms, but still being able to be in control and undistracted with the core purpose for which you wanted to achieve goals, especially in the new year. I know everybody is passionate about the next year, which is just few days to come.
Yes.
But ability to navigate through the whole year, we are likely to get even more distractions, probably worse than COVID, whether economically, socially. Ability to go through that requires mental toughness.
So when you say that this is in us, to be able to fight, to be able to conquer, to be able to, use or abuse our brains, is it something that we all know? Is it capacity that we all have?
Potential, I would say we have the potential to be able to manage our minds. I'm always amazed of the statistics currently, because you're being told 1 out of every 4 people is in a state of mentally unwell. And that's still speaking to the mental toughness in terms of people have been or have foreign been a victim of what has happened around them, whether it's failed careers, failed relationships, businesses. So I would say everybody has a potential, because it's a fabric, just the way we have even the physical flesh, the way we have our sight, so the way we have our senses. So we have the potential to be able to manage that. But we've not been oriented from our early childhood to be able to manage the thoughts, the feelings within ourselves. And therefore, sometimes we live lives where we blame external circumstances. You blame your upbringing, you blame your friends. You all in social media, people blaming haters.
Yes, haters.
So there's all temptations to blame, I call them external agents, including the devil. and therefore, we distract ourselves from not being able to get back into inside our minds and see what is it that we could have done differently or control the outcomes. So a human being typically will want to blame an external agent by default, because it makes you feel nice that the blame goes somewhere else.
Somebody else.
But you'll find we have the potential to almost manage, what happens as outcomes for our actions. We usually say that it's not what happens externally that matters. It's what happens within.
Okay.
And we talk about within, it starts from the thought process. How you brain things. We have 2 sides of the brains. We have the thinking brain, the rational brain. We also have the emotional brain.
Okay.
So what happens inside those 2 is actually what determines the outcome that we get in everything that we face in life, including during this COVID, where everybody will say, we have this invisible threat. And there are people who responded in a certain way such that they have succeeded much more better during COVID, even during this Christmas season, than any other. People who have enjoyed Christmas than any other Christmas there before.
Okay.
But it depends on how they took the events externally, but they had a control of what happens inside them. Because if you feel bad about something, you'll act bad about that. You'll have a negative response or negative reaction. So ability to manage, I would say everybody has a potential, but I would say it's a skill.
Yes.
So when we say it's a skill means that you can learn it. If we were not called human beings, we carry, the other name that could have suited us would have been learning beings. So you can learn the skill. So nobody have an excuse. You have a potential to learn, ability to learn how to manage our thought process, how to manage our thinking process, and that kind of determines the quality of output and the quality of life in general.
Oh my goodness. I think that's very powerful, to just understand that we are in control most of the times, because we let our reins go and we depend on other people to make us happy, other people to determine if we're going to enjoy Christmas or not, other people to determine if my boss akiniongezea salary, then I'll be happier, nikipata that job that I was looking for, then I'd be happier. But then again, what are some of the things that I can do to start conditioning my mind to see the good, to, you know, sort of like get it from the inside to the outside, because you said it starts internally. So to manifest that on the inside first before it comes out. What are some of the things that we can do to just help in conditioning or even learning that skill?
Exactly. We carry on to start somewhere, which sometimes is where I think I would say that's the like the bedrock. There's what we call the tips of the iceberg, but there's the bedrock where everything lies. I think I would say in life, if you check and study people who have succeeded in life, there's one thing they have in common, which is a denominator, and that means we can also embrace that, and that's convictions. I know people talk about things like confidence, but where does the confidence come from? Confidence is what people will see when people are engaged in different circumstances, whether maybe you are an athlete, you are a business person, you are a career person, a manager, or whichever other area of engagement you have. But I think the bedrock for people who have been changed, you know, game changers in life. Currently, we are calling them the GOAT.
The
greatest of all time. And everybody has that. You can't be a GOAT. You have the opportunity to be the greatest of all times. I think one of the things that I've found so fundamental, the building block, is actually convictions. Because convictions is a strong sense of belief on a cause. I'm a purpose coach. And one of the conversations when you're doing purpose coaching is actually to tell people, do you believe, first of all, you have a sense of purpose in your life? Were you just born to go through, you know, what you call the space-time, and then just go and get extinct? So you have to have a conviction and a strong belief on self. Because when you believe that there's a purpose around your life, circumstances do not change that course. In fact, it goes to the extent of even people who will say they are either disadvantaged or probably you have been brought up in a family that was either extreme poverty, and most of us have gone through that, or probably even you don't have parents. The moment you'll come to discover that you have a purpose in life and you believe it, that I have a debt, I call it a purpose debt. You have a debt to pay for generations, for your generation. The moment you believe that, no external distractions is likely to detour you from pursuing that. So you find people who have the strong convictions about life, about themselves, and they believe that there's a course of life, there's a meaning to life than just spending, you know, 24 hours a day, year in, year goes, and that means you wait for January to December, paycheck to paycheck. That is not actually, that's transactional part of life. So convictions forms the major building block of someone's being able to prepare for mental toughness. So people who you'll find that they believe it. It's like they almost act mad. In fact, there's a very thin line between, you know, strong convictions and madness, because you find people pursuing things that don't make sense. But they believe in the cause. So question is, if somebody is to ask anyone, do you believe in any cause of life? Because that becomes what you call the singularity of life. So there's a saying that people say that energy flows in the direction of focus. So the moment you have that conviction and a strong belief, everything else in terms of energy will start flowing towards that direction, including even relationships. You'll find start getting or attracting people or relationships actually harness the realization of that purpose. So say that's the building block. The people who talk about the other things, like I know, you know, now things like commitment, which is also very critical, because that's how you establish discipline to something. So commitment and focus also helps you kind of mobilize all your energy. Life is about alignment. So you have all the potential within you, but if it is not directed, and I always give the example of the laser technology. If you go and, I'm not a physicist or a biologist, but if you just study a little bit about the way the laser technology works, it's just these, much focus of light, but concentrated on just one thing.
Yes.
If you remember when we were young and growing up, we used to take a certain magnifying lens, and you place it on when especially the sun.
Yes.
And then you'll actually burn something.
You'll burn a paper or grass.
That exactly. Yes. That's the laser intelligence. So converging all this light coming from the sun, but that lens is able to focus it into one point. Then automatically that builds energy, that builds laser, that builds the real output, and you find like fire coming out. That's what happens again. So if you build the confidence in terms of convictions, and then you build commitment, that means you're pursuing it relentlessly. Every day, choose one or two few things that you have to commit to, and you focus, you find energy flows in that direction. And over a period of time, because you're focusing on one thing, you will always find some positive gains. And even if you don't succeed in terms of what people will label as success, you will learn something out of it. And that's how you build your life. That's how you start now developing more resilience in life, and that's mental toughness. Because you have done it one time, you had given all the energy. I've talked to people who sometimes they have told me they have worked 10 years in an employment, for example, but they complain they were never promoted, they were maybe even never reached to be supervisors or managers. And I tell them maybe that was 1 year repeated 10 times. You never focused. That's not a 10 years experience. But there's one person who will work for only 2 years, but they commit all their energy. They are not having, a lot of distractions in terms of, I also don't like the aspect of like people saying about side hustles, because we also kind of dilute focus in side hustling. I don't mean people don't do other things, but for what you choose to do, focus. Bible tells us actually, whatever you find you had to do, do it with a might. What does that mean? That might is focusing. Direct all your energy to one cause, and automatically, even if it does not succeed, you're going to learn. And that learning prepares you to the next stage. So if you talk to people who have gone through that cycle several times, within 3-4 cycles, they have already built a certain mental toughness and resilience. People are calling maybe resilience or adversity quotient over a period of time. And I don't think you need to go that so many times to really discover yourself along the way. So the third element I can talk about around that is, of course, the clarity comes from engagement. So people will be looking for clarity. I don't know my purpose. I'm not so sure about my life. It's like I'm gabbling every day. Now, the clarity mostly comes from challenge. That means if you engage on challenging, engagements, things that probably even you fear or you dread doing, just even to start a business, for example, just engaging on one step, starting small, scaling, go fail, that's okay.
That's okay.
But engaging in the challenge, just where you grow. Actually, naturally, as a living organism, we build our immunity from the things that we get exposed to. As we're seated here, there's a lot of bacteria around you, around myself.
That's true.
And the more you engage with those things that kind of your body has to fight, as you're fighting, you're building the toughness. So you don't build toughness by quarantining yourself.
No.
Or putting yourself into isolation. In fact, you'll die.
Yes.
If you remove all the bacteria around you, you actually won't survive even probably 2 weeks. Because it's the bacteria that keeps your balance. As your body is fighting, new cells are being generated. So even biologically, we are actually supposed to build ourselves, our toughness, physical toughness, through engaging in challenges.
Oh my God.
So don't avoid challenge. Don't avoid taking that risk.
I'm listening to this and I like the way that you're putting it into context that we even can understand and things that are around us. So there's conviction, then there's commitment, then there's clarity. And it is, I don't know if you've ever found yourself in a position where you really, really are trying to do something, but then you find yourself not being able to do it. And sometimes you think it's the big things, but it starts with the very, very small things. Please share your stories with us. What are you struggling with? 111 444 111, and we'll have Gabriel answer all of your questions after this break. Welcome back to Full Circle with Mukali. A very good morning to you. How you doing? Merry Christmas. We still have Gabriel in studio, Life Purpose Coach, and we're talking about building toughness of the mind to stop self-doubting yourself. And the question from me to you this morning is, what are some of the things that you've been trying to do without finding focus or the energy to do it? So you start off well, but then somewhere along the way, haifanyiki kwa sababu ama you're struggling, like they said, you find like you're in a loop and you do not know how to get out of it. We are going to be answering all of your questions. Just send them through to 111 and it's just going to cost you a shilling to do that. Now, having talked about the things, and I'm not so sure if we finished all the blocks that you were talking about. Were we done?
The core ones.
The core ones.
Core ones, yes.
But having talked about that, now let's picture someone, and this happens a lot in society, especially our society, where you grow up being told how you're not good enough. Growing up being compared to your siblings or your cousins, or when you're older, your auntie, the things that they're doing that are magical and they're transforming lives, or whatever it is, they're probably just doing better than you are. And it's been drummed in your head over and over and over again that you're not good enough, that you can never be like them because you're different in a not so good way. How then does this person learn something new? How do they discover that they are more than what was said to them about them?
Exactly. Thank you so much, Mukari. I think that's something that has affected many people, because we, in social media currently, we have people calling themselves pseudo accounts. I believe you have seen this.
Yes.
There are so many pseudo accounts.
Yes.
That means a sense of fakeness, not originality. So people who are telling you or speaking to your life that maybe you're not good enough. In fact, one of the questions that I encourage people to keep asking them is, what is the frame of reference of that good enough? So you're comparing for what? What is the baseline? There must be an ideal. There must be a heaven to compare earth with.
Yes.
So if you're telling me I'm not good enough, give me the baseline.
Yes.
That's where the whole mystery lies. And the baseline here should be, nobody has that good meter. If it is a good meter or something, you're not good enough.
Goodameter,
exactly,
or something. Yes.
Unless you give me that goodameter or something like that, then you have no base, you have no authenticity to actually label me or to actually assess me. And I'll say this, people should stop listening from the noise out there. And for noise, I mean even including our own beloved relatives, friends, family, because as much as we've been born in those families, we have a unique sense of purpose hidden within us, which is different even from my sibling, different from my mother and my father. I fell a victim at one point in my life because I started doing, when I finished my high school, I remember during my upbringing, I was being compared, and I know in the family, you'll be told, we should be like a certain clan somewhere. There's certain other families that were somewhere in our village. So, and I remember one of the family that was like used as a model was an accountant. So I was being told, like, you should be like so-and-so. And I remember that guy was an accountant in a consultancy firm. And it almost influenced me to actually pursue accounting.
You felt no pressure.
And actually, I literally started, but I stopped. I quit it.
You started?
I started doing some accounting, but it's because, in fact, I deferred my university. I had admission for university. And instead of going to do what I was being called to do in university, I decided to go and pursue my CPA. That's accounting. And it's because I was following a certain spoken narrative around my life that to be good enough during my time, I had to do accounting. So I actually did, but I discovered, and I thank God for mentors and coaches. I met a coach in the institution, the university I was doing my CPA. And the coach came and told me, Gabriel, you are beyond what you're doing here. CPA actually, yes, it's a good thing, but assessing your direction and potential, I strongly feel. You told me you had been admitted. Go to university. I had deferred one full year, pursuing or listening to that, that message that had been sent to me. So 1 year down the line is when I actually realized, wait a minute, I think, yes, I can still do this CPA separate as part-time. So I actually had to go back to university now and pursue my degree, which is something that has built up even to who I am today. So I would say it's something that if you really are not strong enough, if you don't have mentors and coaches, you're likely to be distracted, because people try to label meaning from what they call meaning, their own biased definition of meaning. So if they think being a celeb, for example, or being a musician is what is good, they will try to influence you to do that. So I would say, as much as people may speak about your life, don't follow them. Yeah. Listen. That's okay. Listen. There could be wisdom in what they are saying. That's okay. But listen. But let the decision that you're going to make be your own personal decision. Because something that you own as this is my decision, yes, you're going to sustain that, passion, resilience throughout, even if you face challenge. But if you do something because somebody told you, yes, definitely will not be long lasting. So I'll say, let's stop people defining our meaning. Let's define our own meaning. And I know we may have another conversation to talk about how you discover your purpose. Because for me, the singularity of life is what you are born for. I want to root something there.
Please.
Anything that exists in life, in the physical reality, has a purpose. And the way I explain purpose is also around what we call a design. You are a product. Mwikari, you are a product of a design. Okay. Now, when we are sitting in the studio here, you can see a lot of design stuff. There's somebody who designed this pillow.
Yes.
The Christmas tree, and Merry
so
Christmas
beautiful.
Again. It's so beautiful. That thing that has been designed, it's a product.
Yes.
Every product that designed had an intent, an intention for it. The designer cannot design something. This pillow had been designed, but it was for a certain reason. The designer knew it's going to be somewhere placed and it's going to be a nice background for such a show. The same case with the Christmas tree. There's a certain messaging this is doing, including the flowers. The flowers we see in our, yards and, when you go to some of these well-maintained gardens, the flowers have a certain design and there's a purpose. And I'll tell you where distraction comes. We mistake the purpose of flowers to beauty. That's why everything's go wrong. Because beauty attracts, is what you see with your eyes. But I can tell you the purpose of flowers. The purpose of flowers is not beauty. There are some insects, there are some living organisms that are only attracted to orange color, to yellow color, to green color. So by God's design, that flower you see as yellow color there, there is a certain livelihood of some microorganism or even some insects that cannot thrive in this world without that yellow color. And they, as we can see, multiple colors. There are some insects that can only see yellow color. So their world is defined by that yellow color. That's a purpose. So question is, if that flower has a purpose, what about us? People who are fear-free and wonderfully created in God's design. So we need to discover that purpose and not be distracted by beauty. So I wanted to use that as an analogy.
Yes.
We are distracted by beauty, and beauty may mean, getting that nice car, living in a big house, succeeding to be a CEO. So you're pursuing a title, a honorable title. You know, to have title. In fact, I have met people who are doing their second PhD, 3 masters, because they want a title towards there. Those are beauty. Question is, if an account of life is to be written, and it is written in eternity, what will be it be said of Mwikari? Why did Mwikari had to come and live in a piece of eternity, what you call lifetime? If you start asking yourself that question, the labeling of other people becomes secondary. And that's why I say that's where we go along. We listen and we get fashioned, and that influences our decisions based on what other people are saying. So listen to them because you have no control of what people will say. Let them say. But let that not become your decision anchor. Don't anchor your decision. Exactly.
Don't do it.
Because you'll always keep blaming. One of the ways to tell somebody who have followed others, when you see people blaming others for either their failures, when people maybe in social media say maybe they blame their friends, they blame their work colleagues, they blame their bosses. Why are you blaming your boss? There's something wrong there. Because if you are there for a purpose, even in an employment, your boss does not matter. Your boss does not matter. Your sister, your brother does not matter. It is, have you been able to do what you are supposed to do to be able to bring that meaning in whatever you do, whether it's in business or in your career. So we can kind of close our eyes in listening and obeying, convictions from other people and allow ourselves to build our toughness, build on the purpose. Remember I started by talking about convictions, because convictions want to give you purpose. So if you're able to have that strong anchor of purpose, what other people see becomes secondary.
Wow.
In fact, when I hear people talk about haters, I get those, goosebumps. Why are you talking about haters? What is the definition of hating?
Yeah.
No. Because even for them, they could be like those bacteria I was talking about.
Yes.
They are helping you. Those haters are helping you actually become more tougher. If you didn't experience betrayal, Mikari, how would you be tough even emotionally?
That is true.
Go through betrayal. In fact, you come and shake hands and tell that person who betrayed you, thank you for making me more stronger. If you remove that betrayal, if you remove failure, if you remove sabotage, people who actually betray you, you will not survive. You will not be the best of your life.
Absolutely. We have questions here for you before Tufunge show. Morning, Mikali. Please ask our guest today. I try to change my habit and lifestyle by waking up at 6 a.m. I've been doing this for 3 weeks now because I hear positive energy trickles down to the rest of your day. Is this a plan that will help eliminate my doubts in how I carry out my work?
If I want to encourage the person asking the question,
Yes.
First of all, just to comment that they put themselves in a discipline.
Yes.
For 3 weeks.
Commitment.
I think if done for 3 weeks, why not extend further?
Yes.
Why not make it a year? Why not make it 2 years? Why not make it a lifelong? The thing is, if you believe in the cause of why you're doing what you're doing, there's that aspect of the why. If you believe on the why are you going through that process of discipline? If you want to lose weight, for example,
Yes.
why are you losing weight? Let the reason of why you're losing the weight become the epicenter to focus you to even do it more and even beyond the 3 weeks.
Yes.
So go for 1 month, go for 3 months, go for 6 months, go for 1 year. What you can do probably, if you feel your inner energy is failing you in terms of sustaining the discipline, look for accountability partners, for example. People you can do with whatever you're doing. So that at least now, the people will look you up. There was a time I remember, and I always give the story. It's quite interesting because one time we were doing we were calling them prayer watch. And the prayer watch, what we were doing is that we divided, I had in a certain fellowship. So we could do a whole 24-hour, we assign ourselves. You are praying between 8 to 9, another 9 to 10, another one 10 to 11, like that. And the whole 24 hours was covered. Everybody has an hour to pray. Now, it happened that one time I was given a shift for 3 a.m. That is early in the morning.
Yes.
It was very interesting. I had a guy who I had spent in my house. I was not living alone, but I was sick at that time. It was many years back. So during my time to keep watch, that is 3. You know, that's the time now you fight that temptations.
Usingizi ni tamu.
That usingizi ni tamu. Do you know what? I woke up, I went on my living room, and I knelt down, and I started praying. By 10 minutes into the prayer, I was asleep. It was funny anyway.
Yes.
I was supposed to be keeping watch.
But no.
10 minutes past 3, I'm asleep.
Yes.
Now, apparently, because I was not living alone, I had a guy who was staying with. Actually, he woke me up. And wait a minute. You're still supposed to be keeping watch until 4. He had to wake me up. And you know, that, middle of the night, it's quite freezing, it's quite cold. I had to wake up and, flush my eyes, maybe cold water, and I went with the journey. By the time I did it 2, 3, 4 times, I started picking the rhythm. So the way I want to encourage the person who is asking the question, 3 weeks is not that too much of a long time. No, just try it harder. Try also maybe bring some other accountability into the process. Maybe you could be somebody that you trust who could kind of keep a jerk around you, keep, tapping your back, telling you, go on, you can do it again. Then if you want to sustain the focus on the discipline, attach a small milestone and celebrate it.
Okay.
If you want to lose, let's say, 10 kgs of weight, don't celebrate when the 10, you have reached the goal of 10. No. Look, even if you lose that 2 milligrams.
Yes. Celebrate it.
Celebrate it.
Yes.
What it does, psychologically, it's part of the mental toughness. That celebration helps the brain kind of release some nice hormones for feeling good. And when you're feeling good, you actually want to do more of it. So it will become like, a spiral effect. So if you celebrate that 10 milligrams, it will actually build in a certain, nice feeling that I want to actually get into 50. I want to get to 100 grams. I want to get into a 1 kg and to 10 kg. That's how you need to go. Don't go into this big bang approach where you want to celebrate the end game. And that's why even resolutions fails. Where people are setting New Year goals, like now people are setting New Year goals for 2022. You're going to fail if you don't break it down into more milestones that you can celebrate. And celebrate with others so that they'll keep asking you, last month you lost 10. Have you managed to get to 20?
Yes.
That way, you create a certain it's a certain kind of motivation. You build your own internal motivation, and you feel proud of yourself.
Be your own cheerleader.
Exactly. If you're proud of yourself, actually it will generate internal. We usually say that you can never motivate anybody.
Yes.
You can only motivate yourself.
That's true.
Yes. Even if I speak something good about what you've done and celebrate you, until you accept it within your thought process, and accept, and you call it the law of agreement. If you agree with it, you generate an internal celebration and motivation.
Okay.
So don't give up.
Okay. Don't give up. I have been following your conversation. Don't avoid that challenge and that risk. But what if I keep trying and failing and I don't have the strength and energy to try again another time?
All right. That's a good question.
Yeah.
I would say direction is better than speed. And I want to expound that.
Okay.
You might be on a treadmill probably. You know, if you go to the gym and you're not treadmill, you will work so hard and you're sweating, but are you moving? You're not moving. You're still on the same treadmill.
Yes.
So what I would challenge the person who is asking that question is first of all get the compass right, the direction. Be more sure about the direction. And the direction for me, again, go back to the purpose.
Yes.
Are you in pursuit of purpose? Because you might be following beauty, which we said is a distraction.
Yes.
So if you anchor on purpose, I can almost guarantee, I don't think I have seen this like a universal rule or a guarantee. I can take it as a collateral, take it to the bank.
Okay.
The moment you align to your purpose, everything else fall into place. All the dots will fall into place. Your potential, your, what passion, the things that you love, all things actually fall into, including relationships. So I want to challenge the person, as much as, of course, they're saying they are trying it and maybe they feel their energy is draining, they don't have another energy to try again. I would say, other than continuing trying, because you might be in a treadmill.
Yes.
What I would like the person to focus, first of all, is the why.
The why.
That means the why is the purpose. What is the meaning for the life on which he's pursuing, whatever he's pursuing, whether it's career or business or anything else. So once he anchors on the purpose, I can almost guarantee as a collateral. Everything else, including those things that maybe were bad, experiences, failures, always fall into the, you say the dots.
The dots
will form a pattern.
Yes.
They will form a line automatically.
Yes.
So instead of maybe doing the same thing and expecting different results,
yes.
I also don't believe in that process. So what I would say is, first of all, go back to the drawing board and kind of recalibrate your direction. And direction there should be the purpose. What have I been wired to do? What's the meaning and purpose for my life? So that you validate if it's a business that is failing, maybe I was drifting away from the purpose. So probably, in fact, the failure is taking you back. Purpose whispers, we carry. That failure that you go through, it actually whispers to you. Wait a minute, I'm here, give me life. The purpose is calling you. So you might find that by failing, probably it's being called back to the drawing board to recalibrate and how to follow the purpose. So don't be blind on that failure. Then ask yourself, why is it directing me? Is it aligned me to my purpose? So once you get anchored to the purpose, I will expect even your gifts, the spiritual gifts, the relationships around you, they will all fall into place. Even people that maybe you are calling haters, now you start seeing them in a different
because you've changed your thought process.
Exactly.
And our time is up. I can't believe time just flew by like that. But how can people get in touch with you? Send more questions your way, maybe come see you for sessions.
Exactly. Thank you so much. And it was my pleasure to engage. I know this is just a ground set. Exactly. Thank you so much. So I hear people talking about sipangwingwi and all those other things. Kindly don't let external factors to panga you.
So we take this pangwingwi nicely.
Now we take it nicely. Don't take external factors to panga you. No. Have the internal convictions and the purpose become your plan and your line of thought.
Great.
So people can reach out to me. I do purpose coaching. I help people discover themselves. We take them through assessments and being able to develop their purpose and then now experience their purpose. You can always reach out to me on the social medias. You find Gabriel Nyamo and you always find a tag somewhere, purpose coach. I believe you use hashtag purpose coach, you'll find me. I don't think we are so many of us. So if you go and search Gabriel Nyamo purpose coach, you'll find my Facebook page there and my Instagram and also LinkedIn. I'm also quite active on the LinkedIn. If you want to reach me through my mobile number, I can also share it. It's 0727 450 202. 0727 450 202.
Thank you so much, Gabriel, for coming through.
My pleasure too. Thank you.
If you've not gotten anything, wewe usipangwe na anyone. Akikwambia wewe uwezi, unaambia mimi sipangwe ngwe. Mimi niko on top of things. Mimi ndio najua. Mimi nita listen to what is inside of me instead of the external noise. You can build your own mental toughness through all the steps that have been taught today by Gabriel. But right now we're going to take a very short commercial break. We'll be right back.